Hello, welcome to the Nintendo Bros podcast. This is Pete.
And this is Derek.
And we are brothers that talk about video games, often about Nintendo. And how are you this week, Derek?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I mean, we haven't talked in a little while. Our last chat was about Metroid, so there's actually quite a bit of news, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah? What? Like what?
Do you not believe me?
I mean, there's always video game news, so I guess I believe you.
Okay, well, in the in the Nintendo sphere, Pikmin Bloom just came out, the Pikmin mobile walking simulator game. Did you have a chance to try this, Derek?
I didn't. I saw the trailer, and I knew it was some walking-related kind of thing. And I knew it's made by the same guys that made Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah, Niantic.
Yeah, but I don't really know what it is. The trailer didn't really explain what actually you do in the game.
I agree. Yeah, it was kind of confusing. It looks like the more you walk, the more Pikmin you get. So,
okay, but what do the Pikmin do?
grow berries that probably you have to spend money so they grow faster. Probably something like that, you know.
But it's like, what do they do except probably get you more Pikmin to grow more berries?
Well, probably, yeah. It's some sort of loop of gotcha-isms. I hate mobile games. I'll just put that out there. The only one I actually liked was the Super Mario Bros. New Super Mario Bros. Mobile.
You mean Mario Run or whatever?
Yeah, Mario Run. That's the only. I mean, I tried Mario Kart and hated it. Have you? What's your experience with Nintendo's mobile games?
I played Fire Emblem. I think it's Heroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked that game a lot. I played it maybe for a couple hours. I didn't get into it at the right time or enough. So, and I also knew that like I'm just someone that I don't want to be hooked on a game that's coming with me everywhere because I just know I'd play it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the game was really well made. It really did kind of scratch that Fire Emblem itch in a way.
Really, it looked to be a little bit gotcha mechanics.
There is gotcha mechanics, but it's still like the actual gameplay is actually pretty fun.
Oh, cool. I mean, I really only got into the Mario one because you just bought it once and had all the levels, and it was almost just like a regular 2D platformer. You know what I mean? Like, so it kind of had a different vibe, but I guess it didn't do as well. So
I also I didn't try it, but I really wanted to try the what's the RPG game? It's like something.
Miitopia?
It's not an IP by Nintendo. Like it's not a known IP. It's brand new. It's like dragons, right? And you're like a hero.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like a MOBA, right?
It's not a MOBA. It's like an action RPG.
Oh, okay. I still know what you're talking about. It's called Dragon something, right?
I don't know what it's called, but it's definitely not. Okay, I can't think of it, but there is another one out there that I wanted to try.
Anyways, maybe look it up while I'm talking at some point.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some more interesting news. The
Dragalia Lost.
Yeah, that's what it's called. And yeah, so it's published by Nintendo or what?
I believe so. It came out in 2018. It is published by Nintendo. Developed by CY Games or Psy Games in Nintendo.
Yeah, there's been some people who said that Nintendo should release the Nintendo Switch Online, at least NES and SNES on mobile. How cool that would be, and how
why not? It's like such an easy market,
and people would pay the amount that they would pay for a full Nintendo Switch Online yearly service just to have that, you know, and great games that you're in your pocket, you know, and
hell, I'd pay like $7 to $15 just to have a Link to the Past on my phone. That would be awesome.
Totally. I mean, the controls would be great, but they would still function, right?
Yeah, they would do well enough.
Speaking of, emulation, N64 is now on Switch. Did you buy it yet, Derek?
I'm actually, you're going to be upset about this. I did the opposite, and I actually canceled my subscription for Nintendo Online completely.
Oh, wow.
I just realized I wasn't using it, and I know it's cheap anyways, but I have no need for it. I'm not using it whatsoever.
I mean, I mostly use it for, the odd online game of Mario Kart or Smash, or I use it I actually do play the Super Nintendo online, they're not online, but I play the Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
It's a good collection. I mean, it really is. It has the Donkey Kong Trilogy, Metroid, Zelda, A Link to the Past.
I know, but I just see it as like, well, again, I have the SNES Mini, so why am I paying $20 a year or $30 a year, whatever it is, to play games that I already have? And you're right, like the online Mario Kart or Smash Bros, but I don't really play them online. Like Smash Bros, I have friends that I play with. Mario Kart I haven't played in a long time. I just don't It's so easy to resubscribe when you do need it, but I don't need it anytime soon.
True, interesting. Cool. I mean, I didn't get to go for the N64 games actually.
I think I would I think I will get the N64 maybe if some of the games that they said are coming come at a certain point. You know, like I've never really played Banjo-Kazooie, so if and when that game comes, I will probably get it just to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually on the fence about getting it, but some of the early reports haven't been so positive. Apparently, there's some issues with the emulation.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look as good, and they don't let you map the controls, even though you can at a system level. It's not quite the same. And apparently, the way they designed to remap the controls is horrible. Like the A button is actually the A button, and the B button, which on the N64 controller is like the upper placement, is now where the B button is on the Pro Controller or Joy-Con, so it's a lower placement.
It's backwards, and then there's also something weird about the C stick too, right?
So the C stick works by the up on the C stick is up on the up C up basically on the N64 pad, but they've mapped the Y and X button to be two of the C stick buttons as well. So it is a little weird. I mean, you'd think apparently some games like Star Fox actually work better, but most of the games work worse. And someone even said that Sin and Punishment is almost unplayable.
Wow.
unless you really
That's bad.
Because on that game it was kind of like an early dual analog style game where the C sticks moved I believe the C stick moved your character and the N64 analog moved the pad. So I guess you could use the analog stick on the Joy-Con, but it's not the same as a button. It doesn't have the same play style. So I don't know. I haven't tried it.
It's such low effort from Nintendo to it almost sounds like they didn't even play the games themselves.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it's actually funny enough on their YouTube channel. It's their most disliked video ever, more than Federation Force.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's been. But here's the other thing: is that some of the emulation is apparently fine, and it's mostly with Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64 that has the most complaints. But in that regard, I don't know if I'll ever replay Ocarina of Time, not the 3DS or further remake, because the improvements were so good. And for Super Mario 64, I already have the actually superior version with the 3 All-Stars collection. So I have no reason to play a lower res version with more input latency. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't really have a big problem with it. I think I'll probably dive in, like you said, when more games come out.
Yeah, like there are some games on it already that I want to play, and there are N64 games I never played. Like I would love to play Yoshi's Story or Winback even.
Mm-hmm. F-Zero X.
Again, F-Zero X, exactly. They're just some games that even if they brought Pokemon Stadium, I would love to play those games. But right now, it's just not worth it for me.
Yeah, I mean, you almost hope that they've heard the issues and will maybe fix some of them too.
Yeah, right.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I hope so. Nintendo's not big on those kind of things.
Yeah, true. Well, anyways, it's a little bit disappointing that the way they've handled the emulation. I'm sure it'll get ironed out in the future, but
plus it's expensive. It's just really expensive.
Yeah, it is
for how crappy it really was implemented.
Yeah,
it's more than double the price.
It's like they assumed everyone getting that deal wanted the Animal Crossing DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange deal.
But the interesting thing is the DLC. You know the Animal Crossing DLC. If your subscription ends, you lose that content.
Well, wouldn't it say it's not cloud saved? I thought they had a cloud save solution for Animal Crossing.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have Animal Crossing, but I was reading that some people were saying they could either buy it and get it permanently for $30, or spend $35 or whatever, and only get it temporarily plus the N64 and Sega games.
I mean, I figure most Animal Crossing fans probably are going to buy it because they want it forever, and it's not very much money anyways. And it's something that, to me, they could have actually released as a whole other game, it looks like. Speaking of that Animal Crossing content, it's very significant.
Is it? I didn't think it looked that significant from the video I watched.
Yeah, it's like a Happy Home Designer add-on. On the 3DS, it's they released this almost like a sequel, quasi-sequel to New Leaf, which was called Happy Home Designer. And you basically designed homes and got rated on it, and that's exactly what this is an evolution of that. So it's Happy Home Designer too. Yeah, so you basically go and design with more freedom to design. Now it's you want to design something, you have to get the recipe, make it, craft for it, all that crap. But it takes time. It's not as easy as people online. But I think that you have more freedom to design on this and get rated on your designs and things. It's more for that. So
Okay.
looks pretty significant. So I think Animal Crossing fans are happy, but it's been like this whole announcement, like the fact that it's been tied to this kind of poison pill of a deal. It's kind of soured the whole announcement around it. It's actually really good, really kind of a great surprise release. You know, could have been it could have been revealed at E3. They could have said, "Hey, we're releasing Happy Home Designer 2 as a DLC add-on this year," and people would have been freaking out.
And you have Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Have you played it in the past 6 months? Like,
Well, I turned it on the other day just to show someone. So yes, but other than that, no.
okay. I'm the same as you. I don't think Animal Crossing is necessarily the games that we like to play. But I just was curious if you're going to dive into this this update.
No, I mean I didn't even get the update.
I know you didn't. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll probably jump in maybe 6 months or more when I want to play F-Zero and that's on there, Banjo's on there, and maybe I can get my hands on the N64 controller because, another side note is they just patched Super Mario 64 on the All-Stars collection to work with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be fun to just play through Mario Kart 64 again and things like that. So,
for sure.
I mean, I think I might get it for 1 or 2 months at some point and play those games, but I don't really care about Genesis. I don't feel the need to have them forever collected on my system. So that's kind of where that ends,
Yeah.
Anyways, Super Mario Party All-Stars, or sorry, Mario Party Superstars finally landed. Got a 79 on Metacritic, some pretty positive reviews, higher than Super. Is that, I sidestep here. I was really thinking about how confusing the naming is for this. So you have Super Mario Party.
I was joking with my friends about it.
The next one is called Mario Party Superstars. How many kids are going to get the wrong Mario Party for Christmas?
That's why I think Super Mario Party should have just been called Mario Party 11, and this one should be Mario Party Classic. Or classics, it's the first of the classic series of Mario Parties.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, even if they make another classics version, they probably won't even call it Superstars. They'll probably just call it something else ambiguous,
I know.
All Stars or something.
You hope they call it Mario Party Superstars 2 and Super Mario Party 2, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
I mean, maybe they'll have a Super Mario Party 2, Super Mario Party 3 when they do new things, and then they'll have Mario Party Superstars 1 and 2 when they do classics.
Either way, it's the stupid naming system. There's so many better names.
Yeah, for both words to have super in them was not good. I agree, classics would have been a way better name.
At least they're not going to... If they went to Mario Party 11 now, that would be the thing that pissed me off the most.
Yeah, as if these ones didn't really count.
Yeah, or Super Mario Party was just this weird outlier.
Yeah, it's hey, we use the Joy-Con, but the Wii, wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, though, apparently, from what I've heard, I mean, it's gotten pretty decent reviews, but the online is apparently really good. Really polished, really smooth. You can do all the modes. You can play 2 players with 2 other players. If you get cut out, you come back with... a CPU takes over you as a player, and you can jump back into the same game.
That's kind of cool.
So it's really, really well thought out, or you can just jump in. It sounds fun to me. It's just jumping in and playing mini games. And there's a few modes. There's one that looks really fun where if you come in first, you keep going, so that you play with 3 different randoms, and you try to get first place as many times in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I played it.
Oh, you played? Oh, yeah, you played it. Okay, talk about it then.
I didn't play the online though. That's why I was letting you talk. So you're commenting on things that I didn't get a chance to play.
Okay.
But my buddy got it, and we hung out for Halloween. We played some a Halloween a horror game, and then we also played Mario Party. Mm-hmm. And we did one of the standard boards. Lots of fun. Great mini games. Just craziness always where. I'm in dead last, and then all of a sudden I steal 2 stars, and I get this weird item that gets me a 3rd star, and then I'm way in first, and then the last turn someone else steals mine, and then all those bonus stars. It was just it is really fun.
Okay.
And I would probably get it just because of how much fun it was. And then we played some of those minigame kind of. We didn't do the elimination one that you're talking about. We played the 2v2 one, and then there's another one we played. So lots of fun. I would love to try the online. I probably would want to keep playing with my friend next time we brought it over. I have nothing bad to say about the game. Yeah.
Sweet. Now, can I ask you a question? Was there any sense of like, I think Mario Party 1 had this, where as you play, you like keep collecting coins, and you kind of eventually, it's like there's a full game collectible. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, it's not just a board game and it's over. Like, there's actually is like, at the end of every game, you get some sort of experience points that go towards like. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, so I think there's, again, I it's not my game, so we didn't look at it very very much. But there are two things. One, you collect coins, and then the stars you also got convert into coins.
Okay.
And I think you can spend those coins to buy like other stickers that you can use online to communicate, and some songs, and there's certain things.
Cool.
And then there's also an experience meter, I think, like an experience points meter that like you level up. And I don't know if every level up just unlocks more things in the store or what that does, but there is an experience meter that does something.
Cool. I mean, yeah, okay, because that would keep me interested. Because I mean, it almost sounds like the kind of game I want to buy to just jump in by myself to play randoms online. You know, like I do on Mario Kart. Like, I don't know why. It's like finally I can play with other real people, and it's like it's almost like what I've always wanted in the series.
But yeah, the game was, again, really fun. We didn't play the online, so I don't know how good that is, or the other modes.
Well, you can. I know for a fact that you can play by yourself and jump in with randoms.
I know you can too. Yeah, I know how it all works. I just didn't experience that. But yeah, like even we just played two people and then had two like super hard level AI, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm probably gonna grab this at some point after all these.
I honestly, I really want to get it too, but I think I might just wait to see if I can get it like used somewhere. But yeah,
it'd be fun to play with over Christmas or something.
Exactly.
I heard the graphics are really good. I mean, they look really good, but the graphics apparently are great too.
Yeah, we played on my my C10, my OLED TV.
Oh, in your bedroom?
Yeah, looked great.
Oh. So you guys all just sat on your bed and played?
No, like at my office chair's in here, so she sat on that and I sat on
my
bed.
Cool. It looked great. Okay, cool. How's the music?
I mean, again, this is like a week ago, and I didn't think to like make note. But yeah, again, we played like the Yoshi Koopa Troopa Island level. Mm-hmm. It looked great, played great, sounded great. I had no issues with anything. Like it went all smoothly, lots of fun. There was never a moment where like this is bad.
And zero motion controls, which means like there's less room for error. You know?
Yeah, we just used our the Wii U Pro controllers. We didn't have to do any Joy-Con stuff or anything.
Great. Yeah, I'm grabbing that. That might be the next game I buy.
Yeah, honestly, it's worth it. It's a good game.
It honestly seems like, because we've talked about this before, like there's that trifecta of party games. There's WarioWare, Get It Together, there's Super Monkey Ball, whatever, the 1 and 2 remake, and then now there's Mario Party. And it seems like Mario Party,
I would say Mario Party
is the winner. Yeah. It's funny, I wouldn't have predicted that back when, right? The other two I almost would have thought it was the third place one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of WarioWare, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, those other two don't seem to really scratch that full price itch. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
but neither of them are full price except for Mario Party.
You're right, but I mean, it seems to be so much further robust.
Yeah.
I
wish there were maps.
More
maps.
Yeah,
more
it
maps.
makes you wonder, like, are they just going to leave? Like, what was it? 4 of them, right, or 5?
There's 5, yeah.
Okay, well, 4 better than 4, which was in Super Mario Party. And Super Mario Party, like, one of them was literally just like a square.
Yeah, like these are like the classic maps that have like all the chants in Bowser squares and like the thwomps that you have to pay that change the paths.
Yeah,
like, it's fun.
It is funny though. It's like with these types of games, it's almost like they maybe don't realize it, but like double the maps almost like doubles the entire value and the entire playtime for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, because eventually, because you're just like gonna want to try every map at least once. It keeps it fresh. Where once you start redoing the maps is when it gets old. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's hard for them to make a map. Like if it's a lot of programming, like it can't be that hard. Or in this case, hopefully their plan is to release a free DLC update with more maps. Like how could they not?
I would be shocked if it's not. I think it's gonna be kind of like the Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, where introduce some new characters or a new map, or like 15 more mini games are joining. Or something.
It's not really the precedent, but yeah, I actually think they might sell it. I think they might have another 3, maybe 3. I don't know if they'll have new mini games. Maybe they'll just have boards, and they'll come for like $3-4 each.
Yeah,
but I can also see them not doing it because that might make it tricky to play online, right? Like, can you join a random's game when a random has chosen to play on the level that they've purchased and you haven't? Like, how does that work? Or
that's why it might not be purchased. It's just free.
Yeah, kind of like how they did in Mario Tennis. You're right.
Yeah.
So another big release for Switch launches soon, but the reviews dropped. Shin Megami Tensei 5 has an 87 on Metacritic. What do you think about this one, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised 'cause I know they review quite well and they're loved by their fans. I honestly know nothing about this franchise. In my head, I've always kind of correlated it with the Persona and Atlas kind of.
It's exactly the same. It's a spin-off series. Or sorry, Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei.
Okay, yeah, I don't know anything like about Shin Megami Tensei or like what it's about except for like kind of like collecting monsters or like the spirits and using them in battle. So again, you might want to fill in more than I do. Like it looks kind of cool. It's not a game for me, but obviously it's reviewing well, so it's definitely something to check out.
Well, it's basically a game where you summon. I mean, I'm not a JRPG guy either, so I might say things that are wrong. But as far as I know, you basically get demons, kind of like Pokemon, right? Like you capture them to work for you.
Yeah, they had that in Persona too. Because I played a bit of Persona 5, so I think it's similar.
Okay. But yeah, in Shin Megami Tensei, it's more of compared to Persona. Apparently, it's darker and more apocalyptic. But it's typically a dungeon crawler with, I believe on the 3DS was the Shin Megami Tensei 4, and 3 was on PS2, and I think Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2 were either PlayStation 1 or Super Nintendo. And it's always been with not like almost static enemies, like they're just artwork, like it's a JPEG. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time they've ever gone full 3D. So this is the first big full 3D.
Cool.
It was also the last game that was shown or hinted or announced at the January Switch reveal. Remember that Switch unveiling in 2017?
They showed this game?
They announced it. They said Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming to Switch.
I do not remember that.
So this kind of fills it in, yeah.
It was shown at E3, I think, this past year or the year before, right?
Just this past E3.
Because that's when I think I remembered. I don't remember anything before that.
Actually, I think they showed it in the March Direct, just like a teaser trailer.
Okay, that might. I knew that there was something in the past, let's say, 12 months.
But it was announced by just like a title card at the January press conference back in 2017. So people are kind of saying, okay, finally the loop is closed, you know. But 87 is pretty high. Like I'm happy. I think the game looks really cool. It's just not my kind of game at all. Like I just can't. It's apparently super long, super dense, beautiful environments, but yeah, I'm not my type.
Yeah, me neither. But all the power to the people that want to play it. So
yeah, I think it'll do well, and I mean that with Pokemon will be for a strong November.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point.
Speaking of another big release in November for Switch, only announced about a week ago is GTA Trilogy. We'll talk about Pokemon in a sec. The GTA Trilogy was announced. Have you heard much about this, Derek?
I know that the trilogy is coming. I knew it was announced for Switch. I haven't looked into I know the 3 games that are on it, but I don't know what they've done to change them or how good they are looking or their frame rate or the Switch's quality compared to the other versions. I heard that a lot of the songs on the radio were rumored to be cut.
That rumor I think has been debunked.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, again, I played the heck out of Vice City. I'm not really looking to play those games again. But I know it would be cool to have them portable, and I think that's kind of the reason you're thinking of getting it, right?
For sure. Yeah, like to have these on a Nintendo system too is really weird because it's like, it's been over 20 years where GTA has not been on a Nintendo system, like a mainline. Like GTA 3 was one of those games that's been on everything except for a Nintendo system. So there is something, it's kind of cool, like the Final Fantasy 7. It's like when you see Assassin's Creed and Final Fantasy 7 on Switch and all of a sudden GTA is there. We just need Metal Gear Solid to honestly close the loop. Like we need the NGS collection and we're there. We have everything.
I would get the Metal Gear Solid collection for sure.
Same here. Like don't even put 4 and 5 on there. Just 1, 2, and 3. Just so I can play 3.
Yeah.
But anyways, like so it comes out on November 11th, which is like a few days from now on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And then the next gen version, like for Xbox Series X and PS5, comes out in December, and those are said to have 60 frames a second, 4K. So I guess the hope is that, my hope is that there's a Switch version that runs at 60 frames. I kind of doubt it. I think it'll end up being 30. But
I think it'll be 30. Yeah,
we'll see. I hope it's good. They said it has gyro, the Switch version. So to me, that kind of implies they're putting a little extra effort into the Switch version.
I'm surprised. Like, don't other systems have gyro? Like,
Not
doesn't the
Xbox.
PS5?
Xbox doesn't, but PS5 does.
Yeah, the PS5.
It just has to do with what gamers want, though. Like they usually patch it into Switch games more often than they do other systems.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of been ingrained into that audience. But I'm excited. I mean, they know they've updated the graphics as a trailer. They've kind of stuck with a cartoon style. I think it looks really, really good. But they've also said they've updated all the controls and added a lot of quality of life changes. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to get this on Switch unless it's interesting. No screens, no videos, nothing. They haven't really shown the game being played at all. So I might just wait to see if it runs horribly on Switch. But
Yeah, I mean, might as well wait, right, for reviews or whatever.
But I mean, the other thing is San Andreas comes to Xbox Series X Game Pass for free, and GTA
Just the one.
and GTA 3, the remake, comes to PS Plus on PS5 for free. So it's almost like it doesn't. I'm gonna just go all in on Switch because I know I can play the biggest and best one on 4K 60 on my OLED if I want to. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Seems like a perfect handheld game, though. You know, you turn it on, you drive around a little bit, do a mission here, do a mission there, turn it off. Like, to me, it's just, it's almost weird. It's like when I really care about graphics is when I don't want to play it on Switch and play it on my home TV, and when I don't care about graphics is when I will buy it on Switch because I don't, you know what I mean? Because I don't care anyways.
Yeah.
But are you gonna grab this or no?
Again, it's something it would be cool to have. I probably won't get it, but if it eventually was at the right price, like, you know, in a year or two, it might be cool just to have. But I rather just played the GTA 5 because I never even finished that one. When it gets kind of an update
On PS5.
for the PS5, I don't know if I'll buy. Like, if I have to pay for it, I probably won't. But you know. I don't love the GTA series, so it doesn't really do that much for me.
I don't love it either, but the fact that it's a trilogy and it's portable and it's on Switch, that's what's pushing me to it, you know?
Yeah, but are you really going to play all three? Like, they're just the same.
No, I'll probably play a little bit of each, and that's it.
You should just use the cheats and get, like, the best guns and stuff.
That's probably what I'll end up doing in all three of them, or one of them, you know?
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, they're good games. Like, the stories are good, the voice acting is good.
Oh, for sure.
It's nice to have in the collection. But anyways, out of nowhere a little bit. You know, it was rumored, but it kind of came out of nowhere. And I think I've just been
surprised.
waiting for GTA on Nintendo for so long, you know.
I'm surprised it's coming to the Switch because I think it was rumored, but I think people were kind of talking about what systems it was coming for. So, yeah, I mean, the Switch, being on the Switch is very cool. I think the portable part of it is the coolest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might actually end up selling really well on Switch. I was almost going to say better than the other systems, but no, I think PlayStation will have it. But I mean, just because it's kind of seen as a PlayStation series, but I think it's going to do really well on Switch. Okay, so some other interesting news. Nickelodeon All-Stars, the Smash Bros. Kind of fighter clone with Nickelodeon characters, is now $19.99.
It already dropped in price?
Yeah. So people are saying total bomba or what?
I mean, I guess it didn't sell that well, but the game actually apparently is pretty fun.
Well, I mean, I know they cut corners, right? There's no voice actors, like no voice clips or anything. Like that's a little bit.
Didn't they say they were working on implementing that at a later date?
Yeah, but like, do I want to buy a game that's gonna get the voice work patched in? Like, what is this? I don't want a house that's like half the house.
Yeah, but it's like a low budget game.
It was higher. Well, yeah, but it just goes to show how releasing the game in a good state is more important than anything, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Are you gonna buy this?
No, I probably won't. I think one of my friends probably will someday, and I'll play it with them. Like, I could see Brandon buying this. Like, he talks about it a lot. It's like kind of a meme, but I could see him actually buying it one day.
Really, to me, it's more like it'll be lucky if I try it if it comes to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. What game
time.
you should try that dodgeball game, Knockout City.
Is it still free?
Oh, it's on the PlayStation Plus game, so I guess I don't know if that you have that.
No, I don't.
I don't know if it's. I
canceled
know
my
Game
PS Plus.
Yeah, we don't have the same system, so I don't really know what it is for you anymore. But it's a really fun game.
You still playing it? I thought you gave up on it.
I haven't played it again, but I just know it's free, so I'm gonna probably download it in the next couple of weeks and play some more.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm looking forward to Halo, which comes out soon, so that'll probably take up most of my time. Anyways, the last little bit of Switch news here. Some new sales reports have come out recently, and the Switch is actually only one game away from having the most 10 million plus sellers of any console ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna get there. Like, I'm pretty sure. I think Luigi's Mansion 3 has like 9 million. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, new Super Mario Bros.
I'm not surprised though. Like every game that's come out on the Switch is like sold like crazy.
Totally. I mean, new Super Mario Bros. U even reached 10 million, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm more surprised that I think it's Ring Fit is almost beating, if not already beaten, Splatoon 2.
Yeah, it's almost beaten Splatoon 2. It's wild.
To me, that's wild. Like that is just insane.
Yeah, it's crazy to think like how mega. It's like people make a joke. They say it's like the biggest JRPG of this generation.
I mean, in a way,
it is.
It's crazy too because there's no download. Like, there's no one downloading that game, right? It's all physical.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just. I mean, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me that Switch is at 92 million and is on pace to outsell the Wii.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, I never would have predicted that. That's crazy.
Do you think they're going to hit their targets? You know how we talked about, I think it was 25 million hardware by March? Didn't they have a goal of 250 million
software? Yeah.
Do you think they're going to hit that? What were the numbers like when you saw them?
I mean, I only saw kind of the headlines, so I don't think anyone really like added up the number of software they've sold in this year yet. I think they'll only reveal that number at the end of next quarter, or the fiscal quarter next year, but I don't know. We'll see. I think there's still a few factors that it depends. Like, I really think it depends on how the Pokemon remakes do, and if what they plan to release next year. Like, is Advance Wars coming out in March? Not that that'll really push the needle. I mean,
I was gonna say, like, that's something the game's gonna sell. It's like Legends Arceus.
It's all coming down to Advance Wars, right? No, I think you're right. I think it all comes down to Arceus and the Pokemon remakes to push that.
Kirby isn't going to release by then either.
It's a spring game, yeah. So,
yeah.
And even that was, I mean, what's that going to push the needle on? Like, Pokemon's the only one that has a chance to sell 10 million units next quarter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, we'll see. I think it could get there. I mean, it really depends. I feel like the reception to the Pokemon remakes is so incredibly bad.
Really? I haven't read anything about it.
Yeah, people hate the art style. Like, I mean, I feel like sometimes I'm just in a bubble of, people who pick on graphics because maybe it doesn't feel that way. I think they look okay. They look charming enough, and
I think they look okay. Yeah, I don't love them. I like, the original kind of style or the brand new style, like Sword and Shield. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is kind of like the worst of both worlds. But it's not terrible.
I mean, someone showed what Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee looked like, next to a screenshot from Diamond and Pearl remake, and like it's disgusting how much better it looked. Like, people took
how much better Let's Go look?
Yeah, so much better. Like, there's like just so much more detail in the world, and the models are so much better, the character models, and it's just kind of like people took it for granted. They're like, wow, we took it for granted. Everyone made fun of how bad that game looked back then, but really this is what we wish they would remake these other ones at.
Yeah.
It's that chibi style, I swear. And I don't know, I mean, to me, if I was going to jump into a classic Pokemon, it might be this, but you'd hope that they would have been able to find a really awesome art style,
Yeah.
I guess I just don't know what they were going with this one.
I mean, they're just trying to, quick buck. They know it's going to sell regardless, so I don't think they... Like, Pokemon does not spend a lot of money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's being outsourced, right? It's not being made in-house.
Oh, who's making it?
It's some other team. I believe all hands are on deck at Pokemon Company on Arceus.
Is that normal?
Yeah, they've had another team do a remake before, I believe.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so I mean, sometimes I feel like maybe people do like the style and kids will love it and it'll blow up. So who knows, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll sell, millions regardless.
I don't even think I'm going to get Arceus, to be honest.
Oh, I'm not either, unless the reviews and people say it's like unbelievably the Pokemon game to play, there's just so many games coming out in the next, the first 4 months of 2022 that there's just no way I can afford getting that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't really look that amazing. It looks great inside. Like if you're within a Pokemon bubble, it looks good, but not in like compared to any other open world game in the last decade.
Exactly, unless like the next 2 months they get some crazy higher level of polished. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, apparently it's not even full open world too. It's like in sections, like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's Monster Hunter. Like you go on a mission, you're in a certain zone.
Yeah, which like almost is kind of. It's almost like, well, then what's the excuse for the bad graphics? Like that's
True,
how I was thinking.
yeah.
To me, originally, I'm like, oh, cool, you can fly around the whole world like Breath of the Wild style. It's this giant world. I forgive like these terrible looking trees and like the forests that are made up of 5 trees. Like I'll forgive that. But
Yeah.
when it's only sectioned off, like especially compared to something like Monster Hunter Rise or Breath of the Wild, like, it just looks disgusting. So yeah, I don't know. I still think it'll be a big release. It'll probably even get above 80 on Metacritic, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to Elden Ring now that I saw that gameplay trailer.
Oh, we could talk about Elden Ring for an hour. I'm so excited.
And you didn't even watch the gameplay trailer.
You know what? I ended up watching the whole thing. I couldn't not watch it. I watched the first 5 minutes, and then like an hour later, I went back and watched the whole thing.
Okay, I didn't even watch it all straight. I like skipped through it, but it looks freaking awesome.
It's gonna be the best game.
Yeah, apparently people have looked deep into it, and they think it'll be a little more accessible than previous Souls games, just because of the magic and some things that I didn't understand.
Yeah, someone else said they've already said, I think it's Miyazaki, right? Miyazaki makes them.
Yeah.
He already has said that they put more checkpoints in this game because it's open world. They don't want you to travel like a long distance and then die and travel a long distance again.
Okay.
So they're putting in like checkpoints that are like auto saves.
I mean, it's funny. It's like as much as I know this game's going to do really well and has a massive fan base. It's almost like the best thing they can do to make it sell even bigger and better is to give it more accessibility. I know that's like people hate to say that. I know especially you who probably hates that. But for me, like if they had an easier mode in it, that would make me make me way more excited because it looks amazing. But I'm worried about buying it and not being able to get past a certain point and then never seeing the whole game.
Yeah, these games really are not that hard. Like the way I see it is a part of this gameplay is the struggle and repetition of that same boss. Like is learning the moves. If you can do everything on the first try like a Zelda game, it's not the same. It's not that game. It's not a game that you're supposed to be able to do it in one go, right? The whole point is that when you die, you lose all your like the XP that you've saved up. So it's supposed to be like, oh damn, like do I keep going or do I backtrack? Like it's supposed to have that kind of butt clenching, fear.
But you mean you can always get your XP back if you just go to your dead body, right?
Yeah, but if you die on the way to your dead body, then you lose the first dead body.
But then it's like starting the whole game from scratch, right?
So you get XP, so you get souls, and you can. I'm assuming it's very similar.
It's kind of like Dead Souls, right? Where it's like you have 1 meter that you do lose, but 1 meter that you actually continuously have. So you're not ever really losing progress. Am I right?
One. I've never played Dead Souls.
Sorry, no, Dead Cells.
No, it does not like Dead Cells.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess. I mean, it's like this. You get souls when you kill things, and then when you get to like a bonfire or one of those save spots, you can spend those souls on upgrades. And once you get those upgrades, they're permanent.
Okay.
But if you die, you lose all those the souls that you had before you spent them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how that's going to work on this one too?
I assume so. I mean, it's running on like the exact same engine, so I'm 99% sure. Everything I saw looked exactly like that.
Sekiro does that as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's like a staple of their...
Yes, exactly. From Demon Souls all the way to Sekiro,
Okay.
It's always been you kill things, you get XP. If you die, you lose it all. But if you collect your body, you can get your XP back.
Okay.
But once you spend it, it's permanent.
Sweet.
There's only one game, and it was Demon Souls, that one of the bosses could actually take away the levels you've gained.
Oh, that's cruel.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I saw the initial opening trailer. I thought it looked really good, but after watching the gameplay trailer, or like a good half of it, I was sold. Like, it looks amazing.
I think it'll be my favorite From game ever, and I think it'll be I think it has a good chance of being in my top 10 games of all time.
Yeah, like a gameplay trailer like that hasn't impressed me like that for a long time.
Me too.
Since
Like,
probably
everything looked great.
Metroid Dread.
Oh my
I'm just
God.
kidding. No, probably like way further back. Probably since,
Like Breath of the Wild.
yeah, like a Breath of the Wild type of like, wow, I can't wait to go to that space. Like the art direction
Hmm.
is so good. The controls look so tight. The whole like jumping off cliffs and the seamlessness of it all, because very
Yeah,
few open worlds are seamless like that.
I know. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
It was just delayed, wasn't it, till February?
Yeah, I got pushed from January, I think, like 11th to February 22nd now.
Okay.
So
So
the thing is, it comes out, I think, a week after, or maybe it's a week before, Horizon 2.
yeah. So does that mean
So now
Horizon
there's a big,
2 is gonna get hurt, delayed, and
I don't know. I think there's a lot of discussion about, are people going to get both or one or the other, or is one going to get delayed? Because there's also the thing of Horizon, at least on the PS5 version, is still $90.
90?
It's $89.99.
You mean Canadian? Okay, yes.
Sorry, Canadian, yes. But so it's funny because the Horizon, they were trying to charge $90 for the next gen version, Canadian, and people gave them such a backlash saying you had come out last year and promised it would be a free gen upgrade. So Sony had to backtrack and they said, okay, like the PS4 to PS5 upgrade is free, but the PS5 version is still $90 and the PS4 version is the $79.99, but it's a free upgrade.
So
if
why
people
not just
don't-
buy the PS4 version and upgrade, right?
Exactly. But the reason everyone should, but people are going to be not aware of that and buy the PS5 one thinking they can't do it. Was, you know what I mean? Like they didn't, it's kind of a scuzzy tactic by Sony. But yeah, so I think that price tag, especially when you're comparing to Elden Ring that comes around the same time.
But
and
won't
both
Elden
look-
Ring have a $90 next gen price tag too?
No, it's an $80 price tag because it's $90 are first party games by Sony, and then some other publishers are doing 92.
The Call of
But
Duty.
but Sony is doing first party games as 90. But From Software is not doing that, so it's an $80 game.
Great. That's awesome. I mean, on Xbox, like I don't even know what system I'm buying it on anymore. You're just
Yeah.
because it automatically just gives you upgrades to even if you are buying, like even if I am
I
buying
know,
a game
yeah.
that's not a Series X game, like because I get very confused about that now. Like to be honest, just as like a general, even as someone who's considers himself in the know, like to know what game is releasing actually on next gen or releasing like a next gen version, like Jedi, like what's it called, Fallen Order, or if it's like like what is it? You know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's just a quick upgrade or like a small, the what does the Xbox do? The smart delivery?
smart delivery. So it's something you don't even see or hear of, to be honest. Like it's basically just, and it's smart, and it's the way it should always be. Is that they basically just say, hey, like we have so many models of console now that these games are coming out on. We'll detect which one's which way the best version is, and that's what you'll get for the same price. And if you bought it on Xbox One, you have it on Xbox Series X. Like you're not buying it for a system, you're buying it for an account.
Yeah.
And you're
which I think is
always
cool.
going to get the best version on that account. Like it's so much better. Like
Yeah, it's way better. I think Sony, especially in the past maybe 6 months, has really dropped the ball on their PR kind of. They
Yeah,
made just
their
bad,
messaging,
They made some.
yeah.
Yeah, they just made some bad decisions on price and their architecture and just how it's all kind of flowing together. Like I'll be honest, I really want to play Horizon 2, but I will not be buying it until a price drop because I have Elden Ring and then March comes and I have Triangle Strategy. Like I just don't need Horizon for a long time. It's a single player game, right? It's a single player narrative game. I don't need to play it till Christmas of 2022.
Exactly, and the price will be dropped. I actually think that's an interesting point because you're right. It's like it's an open world action game, third person. So is Elden Ring. So they really are competing for that same space. And to be honest, I wouldn't be at all surprised if with all that, Horizon does get another delay.
I think it will get delayed till March.
Yeah, or even later, April or May. I mean, it's such a
Yeah,
big
late
ambitious
March
game.
I think it was for me, but yeah, exactly. I think they, especially now that everyone has seen Elden Ring, and there is a lot of positive praise for it.
Oh my
like that-
gosh, yeah.
And how many views that YouTube video already has? I think it's 6 million now or something crazy. I think Horizon's kind of like whoa, we need to figure out our game plan here.
Totally. It's interesting how Horizon that actually looks better. Like graphically on technical specs, probably looks and runs better. Like I even saw some frame frame
on
skips.
PS5. On PS5.
But I mean, if you look at Elden Ring, like even in the version we saw, which I think was running on a PC, there were a few skips and jumps. Like it's a less From Software is a less polished developer.
And it's a smaller team. But the other thing is Miyazaki and FromSoft has already come out and said the PS4 version is running really well. And I think that's part of the thing is they want to make sure that their PS4 version is running well. I'm really curious about what the PS4 version is going to look like on Horizon.
True. I mean,
Horizon,
it
won't look like that.
Horizon ran at a smooth 30 frames a second on PS4, the first one, right?
Yeah.
And it was 60 frames on PS4 Pro. So it'll probably be somewhere in the similar zone.
I think the Horizon 2 looks so much better than Horizon 1 that we'll see.
Well, I guess the point I was trying to make was just that Horizon 1 technically looks better than even Elden Ring to me. It looks like the bigger, better, higher budget, more AAA game, but it's the art direction and like player control of Elden Ring that to me looks so much better and so much like it makes you want to play it, right? Versus watch it.
Yeah, that's why I love. That's why cause, I hadn't played any Souls game till maybe 2 years ago, and now they're one of my favorite franchises. Like all those From games. Because of the art direction, like the designs they have for the bosses are fucking cool. Like they're just so cool.
Yeah.
And the robotic dinosaurs of Horizon, those are cool too. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like I think FromSoft is just on another level with their art direction.
I'm actually excited to play this and really get into it. And that's another reason why I'm not getting Arceus because I'm gonna. Did
you see that part in the trailer where they're in that forest with like the yellow leaves?
Yeah.
And there's just those giant creatures walking through the forest.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just so freaking cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm really stoked. I think it's gonna be huge. I think it could be game of the year.
Oh yeah.
Just looking at it. I mean, it depends what comes out next year, but just by looking at it, like if it had come out this year, just by looking at that trailer, I would have been like, that's game of the year.
And I think the writing's gonna be great too. Like J.R.
Tolkien, who wrote Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but J.R. Tolkien.
I'm kidding. I know. I'm joking.
Who?
J.R.R. Martin.
J.R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good writer, so we'll see. I think it's gonna be good.
Same. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad we're all stoked about the same game. I think that's the one game that actually Mike will like too, Turnbull. So
yeah.
We can have a positive. We'll have a positive chat. Anyways, let's talk about what we've been playing because we haven't chatted in a while, and I know we played a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I played quite a few games.
Okay, well, why don't you go first? Because I basically have two major games that I want to talk about.
So I guess I have a few actually now that I think about it. So the first one is for Halloween. My buddy came over. We played Mario Party, but we also played the Dark Pictures anthology. You know those games that like Until Dawn, and then the other ones have been coming out every year.
Yeah.
So we played the second one called Little Hope, and it's just kind of like it's you make choices and then you have to do like a little quick time event. Maybe your characters live or don't. It's kind of like a little story. It's about 6 hours. It was fun. I mean, kind of ridiculous and silly, but we do it every year. It's like our Halloween tradition. We play one of those games every year.
Like in one day.
Yeah, we just hang out. We get some candy. We just play for
6 hours straight.
It really was not that long. We played from like 11 to 3:30 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
A.M. 3:30 a.m.
No.
Oh. Okay.
11 a.m. to like 3:30 p.m.
Okay.
Something like that. But yeah, it was pretty good. If you guys like horror, listeners, check them out. And then the other games I played was I've been playing a lot of Smash Bros with my friends, and one of my buddies bought Puyo Puyo. Have you ever heard of that game?
Yeah, number 1 or 2.
2.
Puyo Puyo versus Tetris, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're good. I played the first one a lot.
Yeah, so the three of us have been hanging out this past weekend, and we've gotten so into it that like we're like some of us are looking at videos on like the best strategies of like how to like ladder certain puzzles and like how to make them explode at certain sequence and chains and stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. But the main game that I want to talk about is this past week. Deathloop went on sale, so I grabbed that.
How much was the sale?
So it's normally, I think it was normally $79.99, and I got it for $49.99. So
that's a wild sale. And you know what? For a game that came out literally, 2 months ago, a little less than 2 months ago, and had all these 10 out of 10s, that's quite shocking to me.
Yeah, but don't forget, so a few things. One, Bethesda games never always go on sale fast because they don't sell very well, especially not all Bethesda games, but the Arcane Studios games, they just don't sell that well because they're kind of a niche kind of game style, which is still surprising though because Deathloop got a huge push as far as advertisements.
Oh yeah, every Sony conference for the last 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's like almost too much.
It's become a meme.
I know, yeah. But anyways, it was $50, so I grabbed it. It's pretty good. Like I beat the whole game. I didn't bother to go back in 100% and do every little like find the secret gun and then find the secret way to kill this guy or whatever. I would give it maybe a high 7 or a low 8.
Okay.
If you wanted me to put it in perspective, I think Metroid Dread is a better game than Deathloop.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, and it's not that Deathloop's a bad game, but there are some issues I had. One, there's some of the menu controls just didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like,
I hate that.
Like, you know, when you go like in a game that you go through a loop, like, you know, any kind of roguelite where you can restart the loop.
Yep.
There's no way to restart the loop in this game. So you have to actually leave the level or die. You have to die, or you have to leave the level and then fast forward the time 3 times in a row. There's no like skip to the end of the day button. Like you have to like actually wait in every single fast forward, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it was just cumbersome. Like, why is there not a button in the pause menu that just says restart the cycle? Like, there should just be that.
But was there often a need to restart the cycle?
Well, it'd be like if you messed up something, it was like, oh, you can't do that anymore. And it's like, well, I tried it in the morning. So now for me to be able to try it again in the morning, I had to fast forward through the noon, afternoon, and evening. Like, why can't I just restart a cycle? Like, why is there no button for a restart cycle?
Yeah.
Like, anyways, I know that's a small detail. The other thing I didn't really like about it is I found it felt very small. Like, I know it's a smaller budget game in some sense, and I know it's kind of, you know, it's a time loop game, so it's kind of has to have the same few areas just in different systems happening depending on the time. But it just felt very samey. Like, after, you know, a couple loops, I was kind of like, well, I know exactly what I'm doing. I just have to go do it.
Well, the AI and enemies looked a little bit dull too.
Yeah, they're pretty dull. So that's not great. And again, like, I went to the same area like 30 times, and by the 6th time, I knew that area so well that I was like, well, why does this feel new or fresh? Like, is it supposed to feel fun? Because it just feels like I'm just coming back here to do the one task they're telling me to do to leave. There's no puzzle element as much as they kind of hyped up it being a puzzle to figure out how to kill all these guys in the same day. It's very linear because they give you an objective and it like has a highlight marker, tells you exactly where to go, what day to do what.
But you can break the sequences, can't you?
So you don't have to follow the marker, but eventually you'll have to do that marker to get it done.
Okay.
Like, there's multiple markers. Like, it's like, oh, you have to figure out the puzzle of each of the 8 bad guys. So you can do any of them in any order, but it's like there's no way to beat that bad guy without following the exact objectives it gives you.
I see.
So it's kind of like, okay, well, there's kind of the whole point of the time loop mechanic really doesn't interest me anymore, because it was kind of supposed to be like, oh, I'm figuring this out and learning their routines and patterns. None of that existed. It just follow them.
Would you say that the past Arcane games are like have more depth, like Dishonored 2?
Dishonored 2 has some of the best level designs I've ever played.
Like, what makes Dishonored 2 so much stronger than this?
So one, the level designs,
okay,
and 2, I felt like Dishonored 1 and 2 they're much more stealth, and you know, you really have to think about what you're doing, and there's really interesting ways to go about doing it in a stealth way or a kind of a brutal murder way. Where this game you can just, like, once you get a strong gun, you can run and gun through the entire game. Like, I felt like I could have never stopped or never slowed down, and I would have no problem.
Like super. So the gunplay didn't really feel that great.
It felt pretty good. It's, again, no comparison to some other games, but again, it just felt a little easy in that sense, where the AI aren't very smart. You can get an elite or exquisite gun so early on, and it just becomes so powerful that you don't feel like you have to run or do anything clever. It's like you just can dart straight in for the bad guy or the objective and kill whoever's in the way, or just run around them.
Wow.
The only thing that I thought was really good was the counter co-op in the game.
Really? Because that's interesting, because I haven't heard much about it, and most people have said it's not that great.
It can be really frustrating, and it was really frustrating at the start. Because either you're playing the girl and you're not very strong, so you get killed every time, or you're the guy and you're not very strong, and the girls that are trying to hunt you down just killed me all the time. And I was like, I just want to play the game, So it can be frustrating, but by the end of the game, I felt very strong as the girl because I upgraded her, and as the guy. So it was just freaking awesome to.
So correct me if I'm wrong. It's like you're playing the main game, but the enemies are someone online, but there's only one of them at a time, right?
So it's like you're playing the main game. So you're the main game. In the main game, you're this guy named Colt, and you're trying to kill these 8. They're called visionaries. They are like these 8 special targets, people. Mm-hmm. But one of them is a girl named Juliana, and she can be a player, and she actually hunts you. So you're trying to kill these 8 people, but one of the 8 is actually trying to kill you, so you have to reset your loop. So once in a while, like you'll enter an area, and it's like you're trying to kill the guy, let's say Frank. And then all of a sudden it'll say, warning, Juliana's hunting you now. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like she's hunting me. And you have to like hide or run away. And you're still trying to do like your objective of killing Frank. But you also have to now stop Juliana from killing you. So you're also like trying to like hunt her down and stop her. And also like make sure you can get out. Because sometimes like there are a few times where I was so close to killing the objective that I just killed the objective and then ran and did all these special things to get out. And I like all I did was running from Juliana. Like I didn't try to fight her. So you don't have to. You don't have to kill her.
Adds tension, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it was cool because there are times where I was playing the game and I had like the teleport upgrade. So I took a shotgun. I was using teleport, and I was just like trying to strafe around Juliana and kill her before she killed me. But then other times I had like the invisibility upgrade, and I sat in a corner. I was invisible, and I would like throw a grenade to lure her near me, and then I would wait for her to walk by me and stab her in the back. So it was like there's a lot of ways you can kind of play around her.
That does sound actually really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Like I do give that forewarning that when you start though, it feels crushing to play either of the sides.
What happens if you turn your internet off?
So you can play single player, and then once in a while, the AI will randomly join your session.
Cool. A couple questions for you about the game.
Okay.
One, do you see why it needed to be on only PS5 and not PS4? Like,
no, like, not really. Like, it doesn't seem like it was, the SSD was used to like some crazy way and like ratchet. And the graphics are good, but I don't see how this couldn't run on a PS4 Pro. But I also know that, like, if I think about the Dishonored games, I know they aren't the most polished as far as, like, I'm sure their code is not as optimized as it could be. So I'm sure that, it's not as, it would be harder to run than other games of the same graphical level.
Interesting. Okay, so it did have a little bit of a sheen above past gen FPS.
Well, it's more like arcane games, because I just think like arcane games, I think they just struggle to get those graphics out because I think their code is just not as clean and like they're not a Naughty Dog wizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like Pokemon Arceus is good for Pokemon Company, but probably could have run on the GameCube.
If another studio made it, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I kid, but you know what I mean.
No, but exactly. Like this game does not look better than Last of Us 2.
Okay, well let me ask you the next question then. Why did so many reviewers give this a 10 out of 10?
I think this game is critically overrated. I to be honest, I really don't know what people saw in this. It's a very good game. Like I think it's close to an 8, around an 8, above, below, whatever. I don't know how it's got close to a 9. I don't think the time mechanic thing is novel. I don't think there's any puzzle that's novel. It's a very linear. You follow the objective.
Shooting mechanics don't look remarkable. They look solid, if not remarkable.
It's kind of easy. I think the most of the spells, like the power-ups that you get, are from the Dishonored franchise too. The guns are kind of cool. There's some cool guns. It feels pretty good to play with the guns. I think, again, my favorite part of the game is that counter co-op aspect. Like it is kind of something really different and unique, and it does feel really cool. Like when you're in the middle of a mission and like you have all this currency built up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's hunting you. Like, oh shit, if I die, I lose everything. So now you're like, do I try to run from her, or do I try to take her head on and try to like get the best of her?
Mm-hmm. That'd be a cool mechanic in a military shooter, like a Call of Duty.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I don't think it. I think it's overrated, and I think a lot of people agree. But it's not by any means. It's not crazy overrated. It's not a bad game. I just don't think it's an amazing game.
And probably not your favorite arcade game, is it?
I think no. Yeah, I think Dishonored 2's campaign is like the stealth version of Titanfall 2.
Okay, so excellent.
Yeah, it's just like the levels are so well made.
Maybe they should just remaster that on Xbox.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, at this point, it won't come to PS5. Cool. I mean, I've been playing mostly Xbox Series X recently because it seems to be getting some new releases. For one, I got Resident Evil 8. I think I told you that.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
So it went on sale over Halloween, and I've just beaten the dollhouse portion of the game.
Okay, how far along do you think you are?
I'm guessing I'm just about 50%.
Yeah, you're about there, maybe a little under.
Okay, because it feels like I've been playing about 10 hours, or somewhere between 6 and 10 hours. I really like it. For one, the graphics are amazing. Mostly in the art direction department. You can kind of see where a lot of the times you're just like looking at a skybox and stuff, but it's just nice. There's no real load times. It's some of the most photorealistic environments I've seen in the game. I'm going to say the positives first. And it just seems like a really smooth experience so far. Like it seems like a better paced, polished version of Resident Evil 7, funny enough.
Yeah.
On the other side, though, I'll say it feels like a little bit too derivative of 7. Like 7 felt like this kind of fresh new thing. And some of those opening scenes were like moments I'll never forget in games, where this, maybe because I've already played through 7, I can kind of see the seams, if that, so to speak. Like you get to a room and you're like, oh, I can see that corner and how it loops around the table. Like I have a feeling I'm gonna have to run back this way and get around an enemy to run out.
Yeah.
And it is pretty linear. Like you're kind of like, oh, I looped back to the main area, but now I have the key that lets me just go through that door. So it didn't really ever feel like I was really exploring the world yet. Maybe not yet, but at the same time, it feels almost like a little bit more of a thrill ride. And like going to
it is linear. Like it puts you through a direction.
Totally. Like even in the town, you don't ever feel like you're able to explore the town. It seems like it's opening up a little more, but it really just seems like you're getting through the next section to get to the next area. But with that said, like I kind of appreciate the guided approach as opposed to being lost. You lose a little bit of immersion, but it also puts you kind of more on a thrill ride. And like things like when you go to the doll's house and there's that creepy baby thing, like it is scary. Like, there's moments that get you. I remember reading online like a lot of people were disappointed. I don't know if I'm at that point yet, but I'm anticipating it gets a little too action heavy.
So like how you've kind of done like section 2. So the fourth section is really action heavy.
Okay, well I kind of expect that. It seems like that's where it's leading, so I'm okay with it.
I personally didn't mind that action section. I thought it was pretty good and fun. My least favorite part is the one you just did and the one coming up, just
Great.
because they not that they're bad. Like I like the dollhouse section. I just felt that when you think about the first section of the game and the last section of the game, there's just so much more content. And then the one you just did and the one you're about to do, they felt like they were they're just like so fast that I was like, oh, like is that like what that whole quarter of the game is supposed to be? So
I'm definitely getting the impression that like the castle section was way more than twice as long as the second baby dollhouse section.
Well, that's what I mean, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm not really looking at it in terms of that. Like it's almost like like in Zelda when one of the dungeons is much shorter. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm really liking it so far. But it's probably gonna land about the same for me as Resident Evil 7, like an 8, around there.
Yeah, I gave it like an 8.3, I think I said.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if the next one, Resident Evil 9, will... There's almost a factor of, because the novelty... I've played 7, and I understand that game mechanic so well, I feel like it's almost too easy. I don't know if you felt that way. Like, I'm like, breezing through it. I kind of know the... I don't know, like the sensibility and the mentality about how they hide items and how they craft items and how to get more items. And like, I feel like I've kind of mastered it already, like really quickly.
Well, what difficulty did you play it on?
Not the hardest, but the standard.
Yeah, so you didn't. I mean,
But I mean,
they,
still, I
they,
mean,
they say that every person recommends to play on the hardest difficulty because it's too easy.
okay, so it is a common complaint about the game.
I like every time I play a survival game like that, I always ask what people recommend. Like even Last of Us, because the last thing I want to do is have the feeling where I have like 800 bullets and it's too easy. So every single person said you should play on the hardest difficulty that's available when you start. And they said the only time you'll feel like it's really hard is the first that first kind of town sequence when they're all chasing you. But after that, it's like a normal, good Resident Evil difficulty.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm still enjoying it. There's a lot of bosses
Yeah.
where like I'll use my last bullet. It feels like to kill them. You know.
Yeah, like it's still like you'll have a lot of fun still. There's a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, great. And you know, I actually do kind of appreciate the like it's almost like a take on, I don't know, it's like more supernatural. Like Resident Evil has almost transitioned from being like a zombie horror to like being able to take on any horror trope that it wants.
Like what the hell's going on kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like in this one, it's like, oh, there's dolls and there's vampires and there's, I mean, none of it's like, it's not like
Werewolves.
it's not like you're hallucinating from an Umbrella Corporation chemical. Like this is actually happening. Like there's actually supernaturalness in front of you.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious that you get your arm cut off again and then you pour some liquid on it and then he's like, oh, that's better. His finger.
He sticks it to it.
It's almost hilarious, you know.
But they're trying to explain that like the healing, like they're trying to like give a reason of why the healing things actually would heal you. It's like a miracle. It's like a special chemical.
Yeah, no, totally. Like I buy it. It's fine. It's all fun, but it's all kind of. It almost feels like a really well done B movie. You know.
Yeah.
We're right.
Keep going though. Like that's a great game.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. We're number 7. It kind of felt a little more standard horror. You know. Mm-hmm. So the reason I haven't gotten that much further in Resident Evil 8 is because I've gotten sidetracked, pun intended, by Forza 5 Horizon. Forza Horizon 5. Funny enough, it comes out tomorrow. But I purchased the expansion early access, which was about $40. But I figured I played enough Forza 4 for free. I was going to get it no matter what. I didn't mind supporting the developers, and I wanted it early. So I've been playing that for about, 4 days now.
And
It's awesome. It's real. It's probably the best racing game I've ever played, other than Mario Kart 8 and F-Zero and Wave Race. It's okay. Let me say it better. It's probably the best simulation style racing game I've ever played.
okay, that's a good answer.
For one, it's got a little bit of that. I don't know if you remember the MotorStorm and MotorStorm Pacific Rim on PS3, those racing games.
No.
I had the first or the second one, Pacific Rim. It's kind of like a ATV racing in the mud, off road. You know that style of racing game.
Yeah, I think I remember it.
It's got just enough of that in the arcadey feel that it does that stuff really well. It's not too simulation like Gran Turismo. And it's open world, right? So at any time you can just turn off the road and drive through a farm, and like it's beautiful. Like some of the best graphics I've ever seen too. And it's just like it seems like it's kind of just the culmination of this package they've made over the years, where they've like really polished it. Tons and tons of options. Like you can do off-road racing. You can do like tours where you're just kind of going through the jungle, like not even a lap. You can do street racing. There's even like mini games and party games, and there's also this cool kind of online way of playing online. Like I doubt I'll get into it because I just don't have enough friends that play games, but you can like join a crew, and then your crew can do like co-op races together and go through the game with that crew. It's like it's got a ton of online options.
That's cool.
And then, like when you played with someone, then their ghost will like ride, if they're online, like their car will ride around in the world. So it's pretty cool. The environments are beautiful. I really like it. There's a volcano. Some of the flaws, I guess I would say, is interestingly, it has these 2 split modes, right? And I don't know if you've read about this, like because it's becoming a graphical showpiece for the system. It's already sold really well, having not even released yet. But it's got like a quality mode that runs at full 4K, 30 frames a second, and has like really beautiful lush graphics, but it's 30 frames a second. And then they have a performance mode where it's still 4K, so it's really sharp and it runs at 60, but they've really cut down on the foliage and the trees. and there's a ton more poppin'. So it's like, when I first played it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play the quality mode because I don't like poppin', but I had to play performance mode with the 60 frames is so much better. So you kind of have to look past the pop-in, but people are like, well, why don't you make not a 4K mode, like a 2K or a 1080 or a 1440 mode that is 60 but has less draw distance problems, Like, so people are hoping they release a third version, and that's actually one of the flaws I would say with the game is that neither mode looks. It's a beautiful game, and the world's amazingly well designed, but neither of the two modes are. It's like they both trade off in ways that you don't want them to. Do you know what I mean? Like 60.
Yep.
Once you play 60, 30 is not an option, but it's like you're giving up on this like amazing foliage system, like the full batch of this foliage system. So I'm really hoping they upgrade that. And the other thing is, it does run into that problem of games where you're really just looking at a giant checklist on an open world map. It feels a little bit Ubisoft that way.
But I mean, like, what else were you going to do for an open world racing game?
Well, someone suggested that, I think it was one of the Need for Speed rival open world games, had a little bit like of a boss racing mode where like little story chunks happened around the world. Where like, you like race someone here and they're like, oh, meet me over here for this. And like there's an actual story path. And this game has like none of that. It's all, every mission you do is all happy time. Hey, take me on a tour. Let's go on a fun race. Like it's all about collecting. It's not really there's no real progression, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's cool. Like you can choose to just pursue a certain type, and it'll let you. And you can. It's really customizable. It's awesome. It's gonna be on my game of the year list for sure.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like if I had an Xbox, I would get it for sure.
Yeah, one of the things I was actually thinking was it'd be really cool if the next Mario Kart 9 copied the open world racer formula and like brought its own unique ideas to that formula.
Yeah, it'd be a cool idea. I would try to think of like the map and how fast. Like the one thing is like you can drive so fast in Forza that you can get across like an open world pretty easily.
True.
Where in Mario Kart, it's like you're driving a cart.
Yes, but I'd also imagine that in the Mario Kart, the world would be about half the size, and you never know. Like it just seems like a fresh idea.
Of course, it could work for sure.
And it opens up this map to having like infinitely more racing track abilities. There's even a mode where you can make your own racetrack, so you can choose your own track, add your own jumps, add your own walls and like you can do, and then upload it so others can race on it. So there's a seemingly infinite amount of races.
That's cool.
So it'd be cool if Mario Kart kind of maybe there was like a hub area you could drive around that had a similar vibe to that, almost like Diddy Kong Racing, but still had the offshoots to other levels. Anyways, thinking too much about it. Okay, last question, Derek. What's the next game you're gonna buy?
I've already bought it actually, and it's Kena Bridge of Spirits.
What? Well, you're buying the physical edition, right?
Yeah, it comes out November, I think 22nd.
Sweet.
And then other than that, I'm just waiting for Black Friday to see some deals.
Sweet.
What about you?
Probably the GTA Trilogy.
Halo?
GTA Trilogy.
Oh, and then Halo?
And then Halo, but I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not going to pay for any early expansion if they try to get me on that. I'm just going to wait till it comes out. No. Comes out early. It looks really good, though.
Yeah? You think it's going to do better than Forza?
In terms of review scores on Metacritic? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. People seem to be like ultra critical of Halo for some reason.
Yeah, I have noticed that too.
So I can really see a lot of people just giving it 8s and giving it 7s. It seems like people are just tired of 343 Studios, like how they've mishandled the franchise, so to speak. And it's like it feels like now they're ready to give them a slap down, even though now it looks like their best one yet.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's a weird. I think it looks amazing. Like just the vibe of taking that to open world style, because it's never been open world. It's always been like big open levels but linear.
So you've now you moved to a hard pass on Battlefield, eh?
I mean, unless it just gets amazing reviews.
Yeah, I know. Like you and I were when we first saw it, we were both talking about like that's a game we're gonna probably get. And now I think we both kind of moved to that's probably not a game we're gonna get.
Well, the first trailer looked awesome, and then when the beta came out, it didn't look as awesome.
It just looked like Battlefield, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where I'd just be like running around and stuck, and I mean, but it is too bad. That seems like one of the biggest only games that allows us to do crossplay between consoles, right? Mm-hmm. They need to get something else out there, like Overwatch 2 or something needs to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it will. I wonder if something like Overwatch 2 comes out, or like a game with crossplay.
Overwatch 2 is a long way away. I hope you know.
True. I didn't mean something
Like
that
it just got delayed, and they didn't have a public date for it, but they publicly came out and said it's going to be delayed.
Wow.
So if you don't think that's a bad sign, like I don't know what to tell you. You know.
I mean, anyways, any game that allows us to play together, will we be able to do voice chat through PlayStation?
There might be a way to do voice chat in game. You can do in-game voice chat. Yeah, you can do. Some of these games have in-game party making.
Okay, well, we'll just use Discord. Screw it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it, Derek. I guess that's it for news.
Yeah. Until next time, I guess.
Next time we chat, we'll have a few more games to talk about, and hopefully some news, more news.
Yeah.
F-Zero.
And then Christmas is around the corner. Some other games coming out. Halo will be on the horizon around then.
Yeah, and so will Horizon be on the horizon
In a couple of months.
Yep. Anyways, Derek, thanks for chatting.
Yeah. Have a good one.